Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty, back so many yaps. We on the way, unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother, he going global. Ass hold it down for the ladies, they need their own show. But we right back with it, timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute, yup. But we right back with it, timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute, yup.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Time Out with Coach Cam. I'm your host, Cam Chancellor. And, of course, there's no Ash Nicole today. But, you know, it is her birthday weekend, so we gave her the weekend off. Happy birthday, Ash. We love you. And I want to mention before we get this show started, congratulations to Loveland Girls Basketball on clinching the ECC title. You know, my good friend Darnell Parker coaches them, and he finally got over that hump and got a league title there. Congratulations, man, and good luck in the tournament. There's a couple things that we're going to touch today. We'll have our first half segment. We actually have a great guest today, Lockland head football coach Steve Fletcher, and he will discuss the Red and Lockland Youth Football Camp, and you know, and that's coming up in April, so he'll discuss what type of guests will be there. It's really good. It was a great turnout last year, so I'm excited to hear about that. And of course, we'll have our quick hot takes, and in other segments. But I have to touch on these two segments coming right out the gate. I mean, I have to. The first thing I want to touch on is the New Jersey students are now facing discipline after jumping a JV basketball coach. I've seen a lot, over time there, with, kids and, teachers and coaches. I don't think I ever seen anything quite like this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I wanted to kind of figure out, like, why would they even do this? And it shows that came out that the coach attempted a group of kids from bullying another student. So the students decide to jump on the coach. You know, I commend teachers and, some of these coaches that coach, in rough neighborhoods. I commend them as well. And they beat that man. They beat that man. And I don't know if you've seen the videos or not, but they were stomping him, kicking him. This goes back to home. This goes back to home. And it's it'd be the parents that be on TV. First thing they say, I couldn't picture my son doing something like this. How about you pay attention to your son's behavior? Or it couldn't be my baby. No, that can't be my baby. Yes, it can be. Yes, it can. Some of these kids have just gotten disrespectful. Because I was going to coach at a school. I was going to be the junior high coach and varsity assistant at a school that I will not name. And I was going through off-season workouts, trying to change the culture. Meanwhile, this team was winless the year before. So you would think they would be a little bit more receptive to information, receptive to getting better, and receptive to coaching. So, off-season workouts, varsity coach was like, hey, I don't want to see them doing a lot of open gym, just getting up and down the court doing nothing. Make sure you skills and drills them, get some conditioning. I'm like, cool, that's what I plan on doing anyway. So, going through practice and, the first day went kind of cool, because I'm the new coach and they want to impress me. They want to make the team and all that good stuff. Of course, towards the end, I let them get up and down and have a little open gym. Second day come, I kind of crank it up a little bit. We do some more conditioning. We doing skills and drills. Less less and less open gym. Third day, I'm full out in Coach Cam mode. They know how I am. You know what I mean? I don't care about their attitudes. I don't care, because I feel like I'm the coach. You the kid. All right? And be receptive to the information that you're getting. And so we were going through drills, lackadaisical, kids playing, laughing, throwing up shots, don't care. So I put them on the line. In case y'all don't know me, I'm the on-the-line coach. You mess with me, you own the line, and we are running. Yes, we are. So we start doing ladders. We start running. Then you start hearing them, man, I don't know, man, I'm about to quit, bro. All this type of stuff. So I'm sitting back watching. I'm not saying much. All I hear, bro, I swear to God, bro. Da-da-da-da-da. Now, look, I'm telling y'all parents this, too. Don't no kid try me. Please, do not try me. Because some of these kids run up on a grown man like that, they can get dealt with like they're grown. And one time, it's going to happen to one of these kids. One of these coaches, one of these adults ain't going to put up with it. Not going to put up with it. Now, what will happen if that coach would have took one of them kids, took him to the 12th, and slammed him on his head? Then you would have the parent talk about the teacher wrong, the coach wrong. No, he ain't. No, he is not. Because I'm not going to be that coach that gets stomped. You approach a grown man like a grown man, you get dealt with like a grown man. And I'm hearing that they are going to face criminal charges, and they should. I'm tired of a juvenile. Oh, there's just, juvenile. They know exactly what they were doing. It was a pointless, senseless attack. And for this coach, I'm thinking about the pay that this coach is getting. Because I'm not sure if he's a teacher or not. So I know in the public school system, you're not getting paid much as a coach. I know that for a fact. The stipend you get goes right back into the program. You basically coaching for free. Especially in the inner city, you taking kids home, you're feeding them. Trust me, I know. That stipend you get, you still end up in the red by the end of the season. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. When I first heard this, and then you wonder, and then you have all these parents and people like, and they feel like every coach is bad. Well, maybe all the good coaches just said, you know what, I'm tired of it. Tired of having to deal with this, disrespectful kids, and crazy, unrealistic parents. It's sad. It's sad, and normally I'm not hard on juveniles, but they need to be dealt with. They need to be dealt with because they approached that man like an adult. They need to be dealt with like an adult. And I wouldn't have been mad to see that man defend himself and take one of them kids to the 12th floor and slam them on their head. I would not have been mad. Sorry. I would not have been mad. Moving on to my second part of the segment here. UC fans, just relax, okay? We've been here before. We know what the outcome is going to be. I hate to give you doom and gloom, but I have a feeling Luke Fickell is good as gone. He is good as gone. And you know why? Because yesterday, Mel Tucker, he was supposed to be another candidate for the job, the Colorado coach. He came out and said, I'm staying here in Colorado. How easy is that for Luke Fickell to say? I'm staying in Cincinnati. Boom. We're done. We're done. And all the speculation ends. Well, he wanted to give the duck and dodge answers in that interview. And when he didn't commit to Cincinnati then in that interview, I knew what it is. I know what it is. And plus, I have a couple inside sources telling me he's good as gone. told me he was good as gone on Tuesday. I won't name those sources. Also heard that Luke Fickell, his kids quit the local select baseball team Tuesday. That's writing on the wall to me. Quit the team. I mean, I understand the money is better. I do. It's going to be better. It's going to be something that UC cannot offer. But, man, I'm just looking at the state of Michigan State football right now. And I feel like it's on the level playing field as far as programs right now. We out-recruited Michigan State by a long shot this season. And I hate everybody's like, relax, and we'll just promote Marcus Freeman, and it'll all be right in the world. And don't get me wrong, I like Marcus Freeman. I think he'll be a fine coach. But, which I failing to realize, recruits will follow Fickell. Prater's going to Michigan State once Fickell leaves. We lose Prater. We lose some of these guys that was prize recruits. And everybody's like, oh, we still got top 40 recruits. No, that rank is going to drop quick once he leaves. Because players will follow him. They're going to follow him. And that is going to be, and it's going to hurt us, of course. But we're used to it. We're used to it. And I know people's like, oh, don't be negative. Don't be negative. It's not about being negative. We've been here. We've been here. And once he was non-committal and it came out like Mel Tucker and some of these other coaches that turned down the job to say, hey, I'm here. Let's tell you something. Now, I'm hoping he's using this as a leverage for a pay raise for his assistant coaches and for himself. I'm hoping that is the case. I really am. But I will say this. If Fickell leaves for Michigan State this late in the game, it's kind of you leave UC kind of high and dry because it's in February. I wouldn't expect you to do that because he kept saying, he's going to do things the right way. If he ever leave, he's going to leave the right way. And, I mean, I wouldn't blame Luke because he does deserve a pay raise. But I will say that would be strike one on this new athletic director. I'll tell you that. You can't come in and not give Luke Fickell a contract extension. And you've been trying to commit yourself to being a football school or be a balanced school with basketball and football, and you pull this. If you're going to try to be a football school, you got to ante up some coins. You got to ante up some coins. So, UC fans, don't stress. Don't stress over this. Every day you're refreshing your Twitter every 5 minutes. Don't do that. Don't do that because you know what? It is what it is. We've been here before. If Fickell go, we promote Freeman and we try to keep the train rolling. We'll still have enough pieces to compete. Not all of the transfers will leave. But I mean all the recruits will leave, but some will. And you just have to face that fact because it'll be a bigger school. They get to play at a Power 5 school, for the same coach that recruited them. So that's going to be, that's an easy transition. So be prepared. Be prepared, UC fans, for the worst. I hate to say it, but like I said, we've been here before. We've been around Cincinnati's a great place to be. I'd rather not be nowhere but Cincinnati. We're building something special here. And a week later, so-and-so has left for Tennessee or, Brian Kelly. A week before, they said, is there a skyline in South Bend? Next week, he gone. I mean, you're used to it. It is what it is. Coaches, and I think coaches don't mean to hurt the players of the program or lie, but it sounds good at the time. And then they take that interview and look at them coins. And they're like, I can't pass this up. Can't pass this up for me or my family. And then they make them look like liars. So it is what it is. Just relax. It's okay. We've been through this before. If Luke Fickell leaves, let's promote Freeman. And if Freeman leaves, we might have to look at Kerry Combs. You might have to give him on the phone. He has local ties, and he will recruit this area like crazy. He's well respected, and I think he'll have a Luke Fickell type impact, or maybe if not greater. So those will be the two guys that I will look into replacing him if he decides to leave. But we will find out either today or tomorrow. Because the interview is today. Michigan State athletic director was captured stepping off the plane last night. So he here. Interviews going on probably as we speak. So we will hear something later today. But UC fans, don't sweat, don't panic. It is what it is. All right. Coming up next, I'll have a special guest, Steve Fletcher, right after the timeout.
Are you listening?
Hey, we are back from the timeout, and I am excited to have offensive coordinator for Lockland football coach, offensive coordinator Steve Fletcher. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good morning, man.
Hey, good morning. I'm excited that you're here, and I appreciate you taking out time out of your morning to be here. Lockland had a great season.
Yeah,
I thought so. They were 6-4.
Correct.
And I know we were going back and forth for a minute. I was trying to see if you guys would make it.
Yeah, we was on the bubble. Well, beginning, that's something we told our kids at the very beginning of the season. Is at the end of the year, you want to be playing in meaningful games.
Yep.
Week 9, week 10, you want to be playing in games that count. So we went into the NCAA's game week 9 thinking if we pull this off, we'll have a good shot at the playoffs. And after that win, we were sitting at 7th. And then some upsets happened. Some things happened, the trickle-down effect, the ripple effect, and when the smoke finally cleared, we were sitting at 9th. So, it was something it was kind of bittersweet because obviously we certainly wanted the playoffs, but now I think it left a hungry taste in a lot of kids' mouth. We were returning a lot of kids this year, so they're hungry. They were right there on the edge, so I think it's going to push us over the edge this year, hopefully.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you, do you have any returning players coming back as well?
Yeah, it's kind of a yin and a yang thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I return every skill position, every quarterback, all 3 receivers, the fullback, the tailback, but I lose 3 linemen. And one was an all-state, just signed a full ride to Ohio Dominican, 4-year starter. So, you're excited about one thing. We're going to look great in 7-on-7s, but 7-on-7s ain't real football. So we got to get a couple kids in the weight room and hopefully a couple bigger kids step up. But we're going to have to spread it out a little bit more. We're going to get guys in space, where last year we pounded it.
Yeah. And like I said, I know you guys will put it together there. And like I said, at least you got the skill positions coming back.
Yeah.
And, like I said, get them in space and let them operate.
Mm-hmm.
You're also the president of the Reading Lockland Youth football program, and that was brought back this year. Talk to us a little bit about that, man, and how the season went.
Oh, we did well. We transitioned into a new conference. SWIFA kind of fell apart with teams going in different directions, and we joined a new conference called the Tri-State Conference.
Okay,
which had teams from both from Ohio, Indiana, and then one from Kentucky.
Okay.
So it was a new experience for our kids to get to play some different teams, see some different kids from different areas. We saw several different styles of football. The Indiana schools were doing this wedge offense that
I can't stand it.
You know what I'm talking about? So it was something new to our kids, and something new to some of the old Swifka teams. So it was interesting. And our younger teams really competed. Our first graders made it to the Final Four. Our second graders won the whole thing, both the East and West. Third graders made it to the Super Bowl. Now the older grades struggled a little bit, but we picked up our numbers, and that was most important. So that's got good coaches in place. So I think we're definitely going to continue to build on what we established last year.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always good. Like that community, needs youth football, and it helps grow the Reading High School program. It helps grow the Lockland High School program when you have that kind of feeder program there. That definitely helps. Now, on to you have your second annual youth football tournament.
Yes.
You said over 50 attended last year.
Yeah. Last year we pushed it real hard. We got in combination with Reading High School staff, their varsity staff, and really promoted it just across the city and decided to open the doors. Years before me, when they did it, it was just amongst the Reading High School staff and the Little League coaches, and they would have maybe 4 or 5 show up.
Gotcha.
So I decided let's try to make something big out of it. And then word got out, and there were a lot of excited coaches out there across the city that wanted to come. So we put on a great show last year, I thought, but really excited about this year because I think this year's is as good as last year's was. This year's will be better, and the list of speakers we got, I'm just overly excited about. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great one. It's free to attend, so we're just trying to spread the word. We're just trying to teach youth football the proper way. Yeah. We started last year's clinic off with a trainer that spoke directly on concussions, and we'll do that again this year, just to give the coaches, a peace of mind of what you need to worry about and what you don't need to worry about.
Right.
Because safety first, and that's something we preach within our organization. I think that's one of the reasons why our numbers grew. So we invite our parents to this clinic as well if they want to come talk and listen to this, trainer talk about concussions. What is something you actually have to worry about, and what is something that's just a rumor floating there on the internet or Facebook that you don't actually have to worry about.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's great stuff. And the fact, you do provide this, for youth coaches for free. I think that's absolutely awesome. Now I know you talk about guest speakers. Who always going to be at this clinic?
Well, with the combination with Reading, they'll have three of their guys with us. Cody Reardon is the head coach at Reading. He's coming into his, I believe, his third year.
Okay.
Great guy, very energetic, very young, very cutting edge. So he'll be there. He'll talk quarterbacks. That's kind of his specialty. Okay. His defensive coordinator, Jordan Stevens, will talk linebackers. Here's a guy that played at Miami U and had a little run with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. So this guy knows what he's talking about. And then his offensive line coach, Luke Kripe, will give a session. And his session last year on the offensive line was great. Kind of his philosophies, meet Little League, philosophies where, he knows the wing tee very well. I know, Little Leagues love the wing tee, but he also knows zone blocking very well. So those are the in-house guys. And then the out-of-house guys, this is where I'm really excited about. Pat McLaughlin's going to come down.
Oh, okay.
Head coach of LaSalle, who just won a state championship.
Right.
So he's going to come down. He's going to give a presentation on just building a winning culture. What it takes to have kids buy into something that ultimately is going to produce results. Yeah. And then Chris Mobley, head coach of Hughes, is going to come down. And he's going to present on just building relationships. That's one thing I can relate to at a small school like Lockland, kind of inner city, is we're more than football coaches there. We're more than football coaches there, and Chris can relate to that. And he's obviously about winning, but he's about building relationships. He's about building a special rapport there that goes outside the football field. Yeah. So I think he can give great insight to something like that. Jeremy Flug, head coach of Cincinnati College Prep. Okay. He took his team to the playoffs this year. They went 8-2 first year. He was at the helm, MVC Coach of the Year. So he's going to talk about. He's going to do 10 essential passing plays that kind of any offense, even from a little league standard, can have. Okay. So I know coaches are itching to put the ball up. The more they see the spread, the more they see the. I see it, man. I've seen spread in K1 levels. So if they're going to do it, let's try to give them some things they can work with. And then Justin Roden, new head coach at Oak Hills, is also come down. He won, I think, 2 or 3 state titles in Indiana with East Central. Yep. So he's going to come down and talk about weekly game planning, more from a defensive standpoint. He is a defensive-minded guy, but he's going to come down, scheduling, practicing, how to handle things. That's not so much X's and O's, but all coaches need to know, how to balance your time from week to week. Gotcha. Bruce Dixon, who is a defensive line coach at Marymount, he will present on defensive lines. Another guy who's got, I think he won 2 state titles with Moeller as an assistant coach. So just a wealth of experience, a wealth of success. So I'm very excited. And then from a defensive back standpoint, I talked in a buddy of mine, Josh Cooper is his name. He's a defensive coordinator down in McClay High School in Florida, played high school up here at Indian Hill, and then played at Furman University. Just a brilliant defensive mind. I've known this guy for 20 years, a competitor. So I'm just happy to see him and excited that he's going to present. And then lastly, with running back, same thing. I kind of leaned on a buddy, Deshaun Wynn. Played at Reading, ended up at Florida, Green Bay Packers. So he's going to talk a little bit about running backs for us. So, it's going to be great, man. And free of charge, you can't beat that, man.
You can't beat that at all. And it's Don't say April 18th.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I'm not coaching in the AAU tournament because I'll definitely attend there because especially even though because offensive line, that's so huge. Everybody wants these skilled guys, man, and it's like man, especially coaching up the young bucks on the line, just getting them, firing out things like that. That's essential, especially at an early age.
Absolutely.
And just to go back and you touched on building relationship, and also you're more than just a coach at Lockland. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize, especially when you're in a public school and dealing with that. So many other factors.
Oh, it's yeah.
And you're picking kids up, you're taking them home, you're feeding them. It's so much more than just the X's and O's.
Oh, it is. Like I can give you a story that kind of summarizes it. It was just an eye opener to me.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Reading,
right,
and I had a lot of great friends in Lockland and played across the creek. So when I came to Lockland, I thought I had an understanding of what it was.
Right.
I just knew the outer shell. Before Lockland, I was the offense coordinator at Indian Hill. Okay, so we know the background in Indian Hill.
Right.
So my first year at Lockland, summer practice, we've been at it for maybe a week or so, and that smell. Locker room gets that smell. So I come in and, hey guys, it's time to take your stuff home and wash it, man. We got to get it cleaned up. And I literally probably had 4 or 5 kids come up to me and say, "Hey, coach, man, my parents, they're not going to run to the laundromat to wash my gear. We ain't got no washer and dryer." It was like, oh, all right, put it in a pile. I'll take it home.
Right.
I'll wash it. I'll bring it back tomorrow. And for about 3-4 years, that's what we did. We finally had a donor kick in and bought us a washer and dryer for the locker room. So now we do everything on the spot. But you're right. Yeah, man, you make sure they got a ride home. You make sure they got a couple dollars in their pocket if they got to get something to eat. I've taught kids how to tie ties. I've wrote resumes, whatever. It's not just football.
Yep, absolutely, man, and that's a great story. Like I said, I coached at Clark Montessori, and and it's a magnet school, but it's Cincinnati Public, and like stuff like that, just washing the uniforms and stuff like because you basically gotta do all that stuff yourself.
Oh yeah,
you gotta do all that stuff yourself because if it goes home with the students or the kids, you may not never see that jersey, that practice jersey or the pads.
No,
again.
I agree. Right.
And but yeah, it's stuff like that you don't even consider as a coach, but then when you're in it, it's like it has to be done.
Right.
But I do appreciate it, Steve. Steve Fletcher, OC of Lockland. You gonna stay and talk some sports with us?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
All right, coming up next, we'll have our quick hot takes right after the timeout.
Quick hot takes.
Yes, we are back for our quick hot takes. And first we want to talk about the XFL. The XFL made its debut yesterday. How do you feel about this new league, man? How do you feel about the XFL?
I liked it. Football's football to me, but there were some players, names you recognized.
Yeah.
I think that's most important. There's got to be some identity there. But they're cutting edge, man. They're cutting edge. The kickoff, cutting edge. The overtime, they brought back the Sky camera, which they were cutting edge the first time around with that. Yeah. So, like you said, I think too many interviews on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Just too many. Hearing the play call is cool.
I like that.
So, yeah, overall, I'm sold. Yeah.
You know what? At first, I was like, man, this is gimmicky. I don't know if I could do this. Because I was watching the first game. Because, I wanted to watch, Jordan team play, Seattle Dragons. So, I'm watching it. And the kickoff is great. I love the kickoff because you just can't take special teams out of football.
No,
especially kick return is one of the most exciting.
It is.
Plays when you see a player run one back, and but as I start seeing more and more games throughout the day, it kind of grew on me. It kind of grew on me a little bit. I like it.
Well, I think one, it does both things. It's safe, and it's going to lead to exciting plays. Basically, they extended an Oklahoma drill. Is all it is if you think about it really. So the guy can't move until the guy catches the ball. I love it. I think all football should implement it tomorrow. To be honest with you,
No, and I agree. And the overtime rule,
that's wild.
Yeah, so you get the ball at the 5.
Yeah,
and each team gets 5 chances to score. So it's like, okay, you start on offense, you don't score. It's almost like, overtime, like in, penalty, not penalty kicks, but, as far as soccer where they do the.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the soccer. Or I know hockey does some sort of shootout, but I just
there you go, shootout.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to. It's almost like a shootout type feel.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to. Yep.
I want to see one. I mean, that's entertaining. You know what I mean?
I want to see a game go to overtime.
Right. They were talking about it yesterday when it was tied 19-19. Yeah, I think that definitely is crowd exciting. And it's entertaining, and it won't come down to one play. And that's something that the NFL still, I think, I don't like about the NFL overtime rules. It can come down to one play to where the other team doesn't even have a chance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I don't like that. So I think the XFL has found a new way of avoiding that from happening.
Yeah, I agree. And the XFL, they made great strides yesterday. And it should get better. Like I said, we also recognize the names like Cardell Jones. You had guys that played in the NFL before, so
right.
The quality of play was definitely solid.
Yeah.
John Jones last night won again, and he's a lot of people say he's the greatest UFC fighter ever. What you think?
I mean, he's in the argument. I got to be honest. The last couple years I've kind of fallen off with UFC. Now, I mean, I still watch some of the main fights, but you got to throw his name in there. Obviously, him, Conor McGregor. He's right up in there. I still think nobody dominated the sport like I forgot his name. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, my God, Anderson Silva.
Exactly. I don't think nobody dominated the sport like he did for 3-4 years. I mean, everybody's going to get caught at one point.
Yeah.
And then once you're caught, once you're dropped, just like Chuck to Liddell, it happens. But, yeah, I think Anderson Silva dominated. It's so tough to say who's the best of all time. It really is.
It is. Because, like I said, you got Anderson Silva. A lot of people throw George St. Pierre out there.
I mean, yeah.
So it's a lot. And then with this fight in particular, it was a lot of kind of.
Khabib's still undefeated too, right?
Yeah, Khabib. Yeah, he tough. He tough. So. He tough too. A lot of people saying that John Jones, this fight was really, really close, and a lot of people saying that Reyes won the fight. But I hear that a lot. When you're on top and the fight is close, they always want that underdog to win.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean. But what the fella realizes, when you're the champ, you gotta beat the champ. You have to outright beat him. And if you don't outright beat him and beat him down,
I agree. It's almost like instant replay. I want to see
conclusive evidence.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
If it's going to go to decision and you're going to take the title from somebody, I want to see it where it's not disputable.
I agree. And it looks like he's done everything he could in light heavyweight. There's no more people to beat. His next fight needs to be definitely. In the heavyweight division, he has to move up and test and stuff because the light heavyweight division, there's no one for him in that division. All right, yesterday, big rivalry game, obviously in college basketball. You had Duke versus Carolina, one of the best rivalries there is in all of sports. Duke was actually down 13 points with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. And they came back and won in overtime. Free throws.
Yeah.
That always cost you. It looks like North Carolina missed a good 14, 15 free throws. And down the stretch, they was just clanking them. I mean, they just gave the game
one after another. Yeah, I mean, it's unacceptable, really. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean,
I don't get it. But it's a testament of what North Carolina's been through all year. They've been struggling all year. They just found a way to lose that game. Now it was a couple of dicey calls towards the end. I felt like that kind of gave Duke really a push for them to come back, but it was unreal. I mean, first of all at the end of regulation, Trey Jones missed it on purpose. It bounces right back to him. Mm-hmm. Like, what I mean? People miss on purpose and it just go all over the place. Right, it bounced right back to him. He was able to hit the jumper for the tie.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
Yeah,
as many times you practice it, you can't do it 2 times in a row ever.
And then He ties the game on a free throw. In overtime, he misses the second. The ball bounces back to him again. He gets the rebound, shoots the shot. It was a crazy shot, air ball, and the guy takes it and lays. I mean, just it's exactly what what Carolina's been through all year. And it's like Duke always find a way to win these type of games.
Well, that's the thing. When you go through a season like Carolina does, and even kind of like you see that up and down roller coaster seasons, you get in a position like that. Sometimes you play not to lose, instead of playing to win. You know what I mean? You get nervous. Here it goes again. Here it goes again. Put your foot down. I mean, and you got to make free throws. And I think, I'm not a fan of stall ball or,
I'm not either.
Just go. Keep doing what got you to this point. Same thing in football. You all of a sudden see a team going like a 3-deep zone when they got a late lead, and the team just goes right down the field, kicks field goal. It's like, do what you've been doing all game long. You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree with that. I agree with that completely. And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of teams do that. They'll come down, be 4 minutes left, and they want to take the whole 30-second shot clock. Nah, you got to continue to play basketball and continue to keep your foot on the gas. Going local here, college basketball. Thursday, UC got a big win at Wichita State, 80-79 on Cumberland's and won there. And like you said there, UC had a kind of an up and down year towards the beginning of the year. Now it seems like they're starting to catch on and find their stride. Yeah, 5 in a row, 7 out of 8.
Yeah. I saw yesterday somebody put bracketology predicted them versus UK in the first round.
Hey, you know what? Just put me on the bracket.
Yeah.
Just put me on the bracket at this point. I don't care who is against.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to the NIT. I cannot.
No, I think with the name recognition of UC, don't lose a game you shouldn't lose to. Don't get knocked out in maybe the first or second round of the AAC, and you're in.
Yeah, I think so too.
Don't give me a play-in game either. I can't stand those.
I can't stand a play. I'll take a play-in game.
I mean,
if I got to, I'll take one.
And it's in Dayton, so it'd be an all right.
So it'll be like almost a home game. We go up there.
But I just don't understand those. How do you get to be a play-in team and then for a 9th seed? That don't make no sense to me.
It's weird because
all play-in teams should be the 16th seed, in my opinion.
That's a good point. I do agree. Since they're technically the worst in the field,
right?
I do get that. I
think they play for maybe an 8th or a 9th seed, or maybe 11th seed.
It's like 11. So you're playing for an 11 and 12 play in, and then after 2 16s they play in. I'm just like. But I agree with you. The 16 seeds should be the play-in games, and because even though those 11 seeds are on bubble or whatnot, they're better than they're better. Yeah. But and then again, we've seen it's not impossible for a 16 to knock off a number 1 anymore. That's so. That's the truth. Oh, but also move on. Xavier, they beat Providence yesterday, and they're starting to figure it out and get hot there because last week they beat a very, very good Seton Hall team, and we were discussing this last week. The city is better when both teams are winning.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're better when both teams are winning. And Tyreek Jones for Xavier has been a beast on the glass. I looked at his numbers just over the course of 6 games, and it was like 13 rebounds, 14 rebounds, 18 rebounds, 16 rebounds. And I know Xavier had David West, but I don't think I've seen a stretch of rebounding like Tyreek Jones has, over this course of this past month. He's been very, very dominant, and you know what? I hope both teams. I mess with Xavier fans a lot, but I hope both teams make the tournament. I really do.
I think they got to do a little more than UC to get in, but win a couple games in the Big East tournament. You know.
Yeah, and then again, they have more opportunities in the Big East.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have. You have Villanovas. You have Butler. You have teams that are ranked in the top half of the of the top 25. That gives you opportunity for quality wins there. So they have the quality wins that's out there that's available. They just got to cash in on them. All right. I'm putting the GM hat on you now. Bengals GM. Mm-hmm. You got hired. Mike Brown finally hired a GM. He hired Steve Fletcher.
That's right.
You coming in, you see the roster in front of us. You got A.J. Green, the pending free agent.
Yeah.
Got the number 1 pick. What do you do to get this thing back on track?
Well, you definitely got to find something to work with AJ Green. I don't think he would prefer the franchise tag, but you got to do what you got to do to try to keep him around because I'm drafting Joe Burrow. Yeah. Not because I'm an offensive coordinator, not because I'm a quarterback guy. I simply think you need an elite quarterback to win at high levels in the NFL.
Yep, I think so too.
I think it was proven once again in the Super Bowl. You know, they got by as far as they could with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
As far as they could. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you look at the last 10, 12 Super Bowls, they probably were all won by Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, probably Trent Dilfer's probably the first name you can throw at me that wasn't a Hall of Fame quarterback who last won a Super Bowl. So I think you build around a quarterback. I think you can find linemen in free agency. I think you can find linemen late in the draft.
I agree.
So that's what I'm going with. I'm keeping A.J. Green in town. However, I'm drafting Joe Burrow, and you know, you probably move Andy Dalton. It would be nice to have them both, to have that luxury of the veteran, maybe, you know, putting him under his wing and having a backup plan. But you still got to do what's best for Andy Dalton, I think. Give him a chance to play. And there's several teams out there. I think the Colts would be a great fit for him. Mm-hmm. I think if Tom Brady walks away from the Patriots, New England would be a great fit for him. Yep. Put him in a position where he can get rid of the ball quick, fast. I'm not really an Andy Dalton fan, but I don't think he's as bad as people play him out to be. I don't think this season was his fault. I think with the right offense coordinator like Jay Gruden in the right system, Andy Dalton can be productive. So get something for him while you still can.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people say maybe you should keep him, you know, the kind of mentor job. But no, I don't think so.
I mean, the Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers thing, you know, it kind of worked out, but it kind of didn't.
I mean, and then Brett Favre was a Hall of Famer. That's the whole difference. So you're not in a hurry to push him out the door.
Right.
And like I said, Andy's not horrible. He's not horrible. I just think the time has ran its course.
No, but if you keep him on the roster this year, and Joe Burrow's your man, and Joe Burrow plays good, and Andy gets no clock next year, then you did him wrong, and now you get nothing for him.
Exactly.
So
you have to get rid. I agree with you there. I'm selecting Joe Burrow as well.
You got to.
Unless they give me, picks for the next 2-3
unless Mike
years.
Dicker comes in.
Right, exactly, with the 11 picks. Right, unless it's something like that, I got to take Joe Burrow just for a morale standpoint, fan standpoint. He's an Ohio kid that'll get more fans in the seats, so I will pick Joe Burrow as well. And you have to. All right, now UFC fans sweating. They've been sweating all week. Luke Fickell, now he's probably interviewing now for the Michigan State job. And what do you think, man? Does he stay or go once it's all said and done?
I mean, you can't blame a man for taking a step up, you know, and going to a Power 5 conference and going to a school he's familiar with, you know, following a guy he's familiar with. I just don't think Michigan State's the right fit at the right time for him. But, you know, I feel confident that UC has tried as best as they could to keep him here. You know, he's making I didn't even know he's making $2.4 million. You know, and I bet you the most he would be offered is maybe 3.5 at Michigan State. That's usually like the standard starting Power 5 pay. So UC's doing the very best they can.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know. But then again, you know, his dream job's probably gone. If his dream job was Ohio State, I think that's gone. Ryan Day's so successful, so young, that he's going to be there for the next probably 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
I can see Luke Fickell saying, I'm never going to get the Ohio State job. The next best job for me is Michigan State. So I hope he stays. I think we all do. We don't want to see UC as a stepping stone. Right. And with the draft class the recruiting class he's got coming in, man, I
know, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping he stayed, because I look at like Michigan State, they're going through sanctions and everything. It's a reason why Mark D'Antonio in February decides that he just wants to. And don't get me wrong, you know, after a certain point in January, he got that big bone, you know what I mean? So he played it smart, but you just don't quit a job out of nowhere without there's being fire. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. So
and what you got to go through, I was trying to talk to a buddy yesterday about this. You know, at Michigan State, to win it all, you're going to have to beat Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State.
You're the fourth best team
all in the same
division.
year, and then you got to get more likely through a Wisconsin in the Big Ten championships. I mean, that's brutal. I almost think at UC, if you go undefeated and you knock off an Ohio State, or you knock off, a Florida, or you schedule a strong non-conference, and you knock them off, I think you got just as good a chance of getting in the playoffs as Michigan State right now. I just don't see Michigan State being that type of team that can consistently beat all those teams.
I don't either.
Unless one of those teams has a down year.
Yep.
You can't base your career on hoping somebody has a down year.
Yep. And I like I said, I totally agree with you there. And like I said, I just don't like. I look at a coach like Peterson, who was at Boise State, who waited it out. It was plenty of Power 5 jobs that came after him, but he waited, and now he's at Washington.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? There's better opportunities that will come. I don't see UC slipping off in the AAC. I can still see them winning 10, 11 games a year. The way we're recruiting,
absolutely.
So Power 5 jobs will be out there.
They'll be out there. That's right. That's what. Yeah. And you jump to the first. I kind of matched up with Charlie Strong. Luke Fickell at Louisville. Luke Fickell at UC right now is what Charlie Strong was at Louisville.
That's a good comparison.
And then Charlie Strong took that Texas job, and it just wasn't the right time. He followed Mac Brown. Quit. One of those surprise retirees. I think there were a few sanctions to follow. It just wasn't the right time. Lane Kiffin at USC wasn't the right time. He was following sanctions. It's just so I hope he stays, man, but we'll see. We're kind of used to it by now, so as UC fans, so.
Yeah, we are used to it, and we will see what happens. We'll find out
start
something.
Our own cradle of coaches at this point.
Man, listen, exactly. But we'll find out something either today or tomorrow, and that's for sure. All right, that's it. It's been great. Another episode of Time Out with Coach Cam. I'd like to thank Steve Fletcher. Thank you, man, for coming.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, we out.